Volunteering is a commitment of time and efforts for the benefit of society and community, which is undertaken freely without the concern of financial gain for yourself. Your focus entirely switches from yours to other people, and your own life fades into the backdrop. So my today's guest is one such large-hearted woman who has contributed immensely for the society. Her contribution is actually tremendous, especially for feminine hygiene, as she has completed 77,000 USD global grant project on feminine hygiene. She is also founder director of Young Alchemy, which is based in Pune. Please welcome Smita Vikhankar.
Thank you, Rajni. I'm glad to be part of this interview and speaking to you.
Smita, we welcome you wholeheartedly on our show, and thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much.
The pleasure is mine.
So Smita, we would definitely love to know more about your life journey, entrepreneurial journey, because I know about you that you started out your career from being an IT professional, and gradually you move to different direction, different aspects of life. So certainly, please let us know more about how it happened, how it all started.
Yeah. So Rajni, I was very young when I finished my education. I completed my double diploma. I got married. So I, in fact, started my journey as an entrepreneur. So I ran my own institute of computer languages and computer subjects. And I also did some free software development, freelance software development for almost 5 years.
Wow.
Okay, so I ran that. So I think that entrepreneurial stream was already there in me. After that, I had to change my location. So I pursued my further education. I completed my B and M Tech, and that's when I got selected in campus and entered the IT profession. So I continued in the corporate journey for several years. But then it happens, after some time, your core interest starts taking shape. And also when your basic needs and everything gets satisfied, then you start thinking, oh, my core interest is in entrepreneurship. Right. So that's when all these things started taking shape. And a couple of years ago, I found my own company, and I decided that my true calling is setting up something of my own and getting into my own business. So that's how I moved from IT corporate to the entrepreneurship. Great, and that's great. How now I've started my own organization in career counseling and guidance. Yeah. So we give career guidance to students as well as senior professionals. Yeah. And entire guidance is based on psychometric assessment, a counseling session, and some may even opt for further mentoring and also coaching. So a full-fledged umbrella of grooming a person's career and guiding that person, hand-holding that person until he can meet his goals.
Wow, wow, wow. But Smita, I can understand your journey from being an IT professional to being an entrepreneur. But your interest also lies in social activism. How did it happen?
Yes, I think social activism or social work is what I call it, is probably very core. I've seen my father being a very, very generous man. He's helped so many families around him. And he's earned the respect of so many people around, So that feeling and that satisfaction after helping people or making an impact on somebody's life has been always very close to my heart. Yes. Of course, being a woman, being a career woman, having a family has its own limitations. But as soon as my kids grew up and were a little independent, I started to feel that I do have some time in hand. And how do I utilize it? Right. Okay. And that's when I started interacting and networking with like-minded people. And that's how Rotary International happened to me. Yeah. I became part of Rotary. And in the second year itself, I realized that if I have to really make an impact, Rotary International offers global grant projects, which are hugely financed projects. if your project is worthy, it gets considered and you get enough funds to really make a good project out of it. So within my second year, and I had, of course, my IT background, project management skills and all that. So I put everything together, and I said, okay, if we have to really do a social work, why shouldn't it be even bigger, rather than just one or two families, which we in any case keep on doing, right? We
Right,
keep on
right,
supporting
right.
families and all that. And women's health and women's hygiene has been always close to my heart. We are four sisters, my mother, we have a lot of women around.
Yes.
So that has always been even closer,
Hmm.
especially women health in rural areas,
Yes.
in the schools,
Hmm.
right? And so this project on feminine hygiene took shape.
Hmm.
I proposed that, it got an approval. I got a fund of almost $77,000 for my club.
Wow.
Being the primary owner,
Yeah.
I had the entire responsibility and accountability to execute that end to
End to
end.
end. Yeah.
Yes, so and it gives a lot of satisfaction. I
Indeed.
got to interact with I would say thousands and thousands of girl students, teachers, caretakers, because this feminine hygiene project involves
Hmm.
installing an incinerator
Yes.
for safe disposal of sanitary napkins.
Right.
So this needs to be installed in a toilet.
Hmm.
Okay, so I
Yeah.
had to visit schools, I had to visit hostels, colleges, look at the feasibility. Of course, we had our third party vendors to also help us with the logistics and execution,
Yeah.
but you had to personally go and also check and also uh, include people and engage them, and why they need to do this,
Yeah.
first of all, even training people
Yes.
what is the need of this is
Yeah.
was also very important.
Right.
And eventually we saw, of course, initially there was a lot of hesitance,
Yes.
because mensuration, sanitary napkins, sanitary pads is a
Yeah.
taboo subject.
Mm.
And we did this in 2016, so that initial period definitely people were not aware. uh, but we saw that a lot of men also got included. There was a lot of receptiveness. People helped, and then it picked up. Once it started picking up, it really picked up.
Mm.
I had a lot of support from my club members, my club president.
Uh,
Pinal Wankhede was the president at that time,
okay.
and she really supported this wholeheartedly. And then we were able to take it forward, and I'm very proud to say we were able to install 170 incinerators across
Wow.
Pune, most of them in very smaller schools,
Yeah.
unknown schools, remote areas,
Yeah.
in a record time of 1.5 year.
Yeah.
And this includes the time from submission of the proposal
Yeah.
to getting it audited and closed.
Right.
So it's a wonderful feeling, Rajni, when you can make this type of an impact, positive impact on the
Indeed,
society.
indeed, certainly, certainly. So, Smita, apart from feminine hygiene or this project that you have successfully completed, I definitely would love to congratulate on this completion of this whooping project, which was definitely not a small task. So, are there any other key projects or areas where you have been focusing or working on while your association with the Rotary Club too?
Yes. So there is a institute called Snehalay in Nagar,
Acha.
in Nagar district.
Uh-huh.
It's a little far off, but when we actually got engaged with this orphanage,
Hmm.
okay, if you go and actually see it, you'll see orphan infants starting from the age of day one,
Oh,
okay, up to 2 years, 3 years. Uh, Kids who have been thrown away, from collected from garbage, collected from
oh.
just left out, okay. And so Mr. Girish Kulkarni, who runs this Snehalay Institute,
Mhm.
um, uh, connected with us, and wrote, as a Rotary Club member, we felt that this is something where we can keep on continuously engaging, provide whatever help we can. And
Yes.
they don't stop at only running an orphanage. They have an entire HIV support system, where people
Hmm.
with HIV have a home. They
Hmm.
have a hospital.
Hmm.
They have a self-sustaining mechanism where they can work and earn.
Right.
So under the Snehalaya umbrella, he runs that organization also.
Wonderful.
So on a continuous basis, we keep on working with Snehalaya. So it
Hmm.
could be helping the infants with food, with maybe clothes, helping them with tree plantation, or also going and visiting them. Sometimes even just going and visiting and interacting with these people also makes so much difference in their life, you
Yes.
know.
Yeah.
So we are continuously engaged with the Snehalaya Institute, and I'm so glad that they welcome us, and we are able to bring whatever small
Right.
difference, make small difference in their life, bring smiles in their faces.
Right.
So
Right.
that is one major project. And as part of Rotary, there are a lot of water and sanitation projects that are undertaken. So if you see, especially in Maharashtra, it's a drought area. Of course,
Mm-hmm.
in Pune you'll see a lot of water, but we don't
I know.
realize that in the outskirts there is a
Yes.
lot of lack of water.
Yeah.
So important projects on building water bodies and water preservation,
Yes.
saving of water, all these projects are taken. It could be something small as replacing taps,
Okay. Like
or
rainwater harvesting and such
correct,
idea.
or it could be something as big as building a huge lake as a
Uh-huh.
water body. So it could be very like this. So we support such projects by funding or even volunteering our hours, or even awareness. So
Right.
these are different ways of supporting these projects. And
Wonderful.
another is literacy.
Yeah.
So where we can increase education, levels of education.
Mm-hmm.
Literacy in terms, it's not about just having a candidate pass fourth standard and fifth standard, you know.
Right. Right.
It's
Right.
about the person should be able to read, comprehend and write.
Right. Very
uh,
important.
and uh, and that is the reason adult literacy is also a very big part of Rotary's mission.
Yes.
So we participate in these activities as well.
Yes.
Yeah, so and of
But
course there are small things that people keep
but
up coming up. There are
you have been doing fabulous job, in fact, Smita. I mean, this is something really appreciable. So, but during these COVID times, how much your projects have been impacted? Because you know that there have been lockdown situation also. There have been so many restrictions due to the pandemic, and people could not interact with each other, with one another. So how did you manage through these timings, COVID hard timings, or your projects? Are you still running some projects actively, or they have taken backseat during these times?
not at all. None of the projects have taken backseat. The projects have changed
Okay.
with the needs. There was a lot of need of food supplies for people who were traveling or migrating from one area to another. If you remember the starting days of COVID, that's when the power of having a large network like Rotary came into place. You know, we were so many of us connected one another. You know, we
Yeah.
could mobilize so many things and funds. So even if we couldn't get out of home,
Yeah.
okay, we could mobilize a lot of smaller NGOs, smaller volunteers, group of volunteers who could actually go follow the social distancing protocols
Yes.
and still make sure that the help reaches the needy.
Yeah.
So and not only through Rotary, in fact a lot of members in my community, in my group, we actually went out and supported other NGOs also, because it's not necessary that Rotary was always available at some
Right.
locations.
True.
So we
True.
connected, maybe it could be the bike riders group,
Hmm.
okay, it could be the small volunteers with maybe the social workers, other
Hmm.
social workers. So we
Hmm.
connected with them and made sure the funds are reaching them. We have a huge network, so we connected with the grocers so
Yeah.
that the packets are available in lower
Right.
cost.
Yes.
So all this was managed and be provided to all the migrants. A lot of masks have been manufactured and distributed in lakhs. It's not just small. In fact, Rotary has distributed masks and PPE kits. Some we have also set up some COVID centers
Uh-huh.
run by Rotary.
Uh-huh.
So we have been involved in helping, volunteering, organizing these things. So it's not a one-man show, of course. It's a group of people who come together and make this happen.
Right.
So and that's where I, like I mentioned to you, being a part of a larger group and a big network
Uh-huh.
always helps. On
Yes.
your own you can do very little,
Yes.
uh, but when you are part of a larger group you can make things, bigger things happen. So this is how we Rotary is still working on this.
Right.
uh, in spite of this COVID times, there have been blood donation camps organized, a lot of doctor connections, connecting with doctors. So somebody is needy, doesn't get a bed, they'll
Hmm.
connect to Rotary, will make sure they get the right support. So
Right.
all these things have been happening in the COVID times as well.
Ah, wonderful, wonderful job. And Smita, what message do you have for our viewers who are watching you?
Yes, I would say, be happy first. Okay, or happiness is something that is very contagious. So if you are happy, you will spread it.
Hmm.
Naturally you will make others happy. Internally, if you're happy and satisfied, you would want to do something for others as well.
Indeed.
And it doesn't take much to be happy. Of course, your basic needs are something that you need to satisfy. You need to work harder to get your basic things in place, but be content. And we have to be very, very grateful to what God has given us. Through my social work, Rajni, I've seen so many sides of life, where people have so much difficulties in their life. They have so many challenges, and every day we have to be very, very grateful for all that God has given us,
Yes.
blessed us with. And
We
if we
cannot take
always
it for granted, actually. We take it for granted.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely. So and if you actually view life from those both perspectives, that happiness and being grateful automatically comes to us.
Yes.
And giving always helps. The more you give, the more comebacks to you.
More comes back. Yes.
So that's
True.
what I would share.
Lovely, lovely. Smita, we wish you all the best for your all future anniversary projects. Thank you so much for having such a lovely and insightful conversation with us and for being with us. Thank you so much once again.
Thank you, Rajni.